The Bridgewater Triangle, America's own Bermuda Triangle. Nobody talks about a police officer with 20 years on the force stood in a swamp outside Boston and watched a creature stand upright, look directly at him, and walk calmly back into the trees. He filed the report anyway, knowing exactly how it would sound. He wasn't the first officer to file one just like it. He wouldn't be the last. Tucked within roughly 200 square miles of southeastern Massachusetts, spanning several towns including Bridgewater, Freetown, and the surrounding state forest, lies a region local researchers and longtime residents have referred to for decades as the Bridgewater Triangle, an area with a documented history of reported paranormal activity, unexplained animal mutilations, UFO sightings, and cryptid encounters extensive and consistent enough that it has attracted sustained academic interest from folklorists and paranormal researchers alike, even as mainstream science remains, understandably, deeply skeptical of the specific supernatural explanations most commonly offered for what residents have reported experiencing there. The region's unsettling reputation predates its modern popular name considerably. The area sits atop and around what was once significant Wampanoag tribal territory, and local indigenous oral tradition, according to some historical and folkloric accounts, described the area as cursed or spiritually troubled long before European settlers arrived, tied specifically to accounts of a devastating and violent conflict, King Philip's War in the late 17th century, one of the most brutal colonial conflicts in early American history, during which significant violence occurred within this specific geographic region. A historical backdrop some researchers and local storytellers have suggested may underlie the area's subsequent centuries of reported strangeness, though this connection remains folkloric interpretation rather than anything approaching documented historical causation. Modern reports of unusual activity within the region date back at least to the mid-20th century and encompass a genuinely wide range of distinct phenomena rather than a single consistent type of encounter. Hockomock Swamp, the region's central geographic feature and largest undeveloped wetland in Massachusetts, has been the site of numerous reported Bigfoot-type creature sightings over multiple decades, including the specific 1970s encounter involving a local police officer, whose report, filed through official channels alongside several corroborating witnesses from the same general period, remains one of the case's most frequently cited incidents specifically because it originated from a trained observer with professional credibility, to lose by filing it, rather than an anonymous or unverifiable source. Beyond cryptid sightings, the region has an extensively documented history of reported unexplained livestock and animal mutilations dating back decades, cases investigated at various points by local police, and, in several instances, formally examined by veterinarians who reported genuine difficulty explaining the specific, precise nature of the wounds found on affected animals using conventional predator behavior, findings that, while not conclusively supernatural, have never received a fully satisfying alternative explanation either, leaving these specific cases in a genuinely unresolved evidentiary category distinct from more easily dismissed cryptid sighting reports. The area has also generated a substantial number of reported UFO sightings over multiple decades, including a particularly well-documented cluster of incidents in 1908 involving numerous independent witnesses across several towns reporting unusual aerial lights and objects, incidents that predate the modern UFO phenomenon's broader cultural popularization by decades. A detail researchers studying the region's history find significant since it suggests, at minimum, a genuine pattern of local unusual aerial sighting reports considerably predating any influence from later, more widespread UFO cultural narratives that might otherwise be suspected of shaping witness expectations and interpretations. Local folklore additionally describes reported sightings of a large, spectral black dog with glowing red eyes throughout the region, a specific cryptid archetype with deep, well-documented roots in broader English and European folklore traditions that arrived in America alongside colonial-era settlers, along with persistent reports of ghostly apparitions specifically associated with the region's historical Native American burial grounds and King Philip's War battle sites. Reports researchers studying the area's folklore note frequently follow culturally familiar patterns commonly associated with reported hauntings at sites of significant historical violence and unresolved cultural trauma more broadly, a pattern observed across numerous similarly reputed locations throughout North America. What genuinely distinguishes the Bridgewater Triangle from many similarly reputed cursed or paranormal geographic regions elsewhere in the country isn't necessarily the specific individual categories of phenomena reported. Since Bigfoot sightings, UFO reports, and ghost stories occur in isolated instances across virtually every region of the United States, but rather the specific, sustained geographic concentration and genuine diversity of distinct phenomena types reported consistently within this one particular, relatively compact area over multiple decades, a pattern folklorists studying regional American paranormal traditions have noted as genuinely unusual in its specific combination and consistency, even while stopping well short of endorsing any of the underlying supernatural explanations typically offered by believers. Skeptical researchers and scientists examining the region's reported phenomena have proposed several more conventional explanations for at least some of the reported activity, including the genuine, well-documented presence of unusually dense, disorienting fog patterns within Hockomock Swamp's specific wetland ecology, capable of distorting distances, shapes, and sounds in ways that could plausibly account for at least some cryptid and unexplained light sighting reports among witnesses navigating unfamiliar, poorly lit terrain. Additionally, some researchers have suggested the region's specific underlying geology, including documented deposits of certain minerals within the area, could potentially produce genuine, naturally occurring electromagnetic anomalies capable of causing temporary disorientation, unusual light phenomena, or equipment malfunctions among witnesses and investigators, an explanation that, while scientifically plausible in principle, has never been definitively confirmed as the specific cause of any particular documented incident within the region. What makes the Bridgewater Triangle endure as a genuinely significant case study within American paranormal folklore, distinct from more easily dismissed individual urban legends, is this specific combination of factors: credible, professionally accountable witnesses, including law enforcement officers willing to attach their names and professional reputations to reported encounters, a genuinely diverse range of distinct phenomena types reported consistently over multiple decades within a relatively compact, specific geographic area, and a historical, cultural backdrop of genuine documented violence and unresolved trauma that predates the region's modern paranormal reputation by centuries, a combination folklorists and researchers studying American regional paranormal traditions generally agree represents one of the most substantively documented, consistently reported cases of its type anywhere in the country, regardless of how individual observers ultimately choose to interpret the underlying cause of what residents and visitors have spent decades reporting. The Hockomock Swamp remains today largely as undeveloped and difficult to fully access as it has been for centuries, a roughly 17,000-acre wetland that local Wampanoag tradition translates the name of as "place where spirits dwell," continuing to draw paranormal researchers, curious visitors, and, according to still ongoing reports filed with local authorities and paranormal research organizations alike, occasional witnesses to something residents in the surrounding towns have simply learned, over multiple generations, not to fully explain away. If stories like this, where an entire region's documented history of strangeness resists easy explanation from skeptics and believers alike, are exactly what you come here for, subscribe to The Grave Details, because history holds more stories like this than most people will ever know.